They were Kuftes Amid Bays, 6 lines up from the bottom, 109b3, the last paragraph. Hahu da Amar Lahu, a certain person said to his children, Dikla Lebras, a palm tree is going to go to my daughter. Shacha v'shavik trey palge de Dikla. So they split, he died, and he left two half uh, palm trees. I guess he owned it with a partner. Yeah, Rashi says he had many, many uh single palm trees, but he had two that he owned with a partnership with someone else. So the sons left their sister two half palm trees because it's much easier to deal with a whole palm tree than a half palm tree. Yasser Ravashi v'kakashale. Ravashi was sitting in din and he was pondering the point. He wasn't sure about it. Mi karo inchi litre page dikle diklo lo. Do people call two half of a palm tree or not? Because if people do, then she's going to be stuck with these two half a palm trees. But if people don't call it a palm tree, then they didn't. Then her brothers didn't fulfill the wish of their father, and they're going to have to give her one whole palm tree. So Amr le Rav Mordechai Rav Ashi, Rav Mordechai, which isn't a common name in the Gemara. Rav Mordechai said to Rav Ashi, Hachi Amr Avimi meHagronia Mishmei Rava. This is what Avimi from Hagronia said in the name of Rava. Karo inchi letrei palge dikla dikla. People do call two half of a palm trees a palm. So therefore, this girl was stuck with two half palm trees. Okay, next mission, top of Kuf Yud Amud Aleph. Hamotzi shtarchav al chavero. So if someone presents a loan document saying that you need to pay me back, v'hala hotzi shemachar lo asasada. And then the other guy says, well, you sold me a field. So what happens in such a case? Admon Omer Yachal Hu Sheyomer Ilo Yisei Chayav Lachalei Parea Eshalcha Kishemacharta Yasasada. So the guy who's being requested to pay back his loan, but who has this new title or a bill of sale of a field, if I would have owed you money, you shouldn't have sold me the field. The fact that you sold me the field must mean that I didn't owe you money. And the Chachamim say, no, even though the other guy owed me money, but he was happy to buy to sell me a field because Rashi points out that this field was sold after the loan. So the Chachamim say, no, it was a good idea for him to sell a field because now that so now I say that he owes me money, and he says that I sold him a field. So the fact that I sold him the field, according to the Chacham, it means now he owns a field. And if I can't get paid back, I could collect from the field. And if he wouldn't have owned a field, there may be no way for me to collect. So it was a good idea that I sold him the field because now I have karka, I have real estate that I could collect the loan from. So that's a machlokus between Admon and Chachamim. According to what we saw last week, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel doesn't hold like Admon, so we probably don't pass like Admon here. But that's the argument here. Gemara, my time of the Rabbanon, Shaper Ka'amar Admon. What's the reason of the Rabbanon? Admon said a good thing. Why would I have sold him a field if he owes me money? I should say pay up what you owe first, and then I'll sell you a field. So Gemara says, "Ba'asr diavi zuzi v'hadar kasvi shar kuli amal pligi dematzi amarle hayalachli parashacha kishemacharta yasasada." So in a place where first you pay the money and then you write the shtar of the bill of sale, everyone agrees that with Admon that you should have paid me for my loan before you paid me. If he really owed me money, I should have collected the loan before I sold him the field. From the fact that we're in a place where you pay first and then write the shtar, I should have collected. From the fact that I didn't collect the loan. Okay, so So everyone would agree with Admon. Ki pligi de asra dixivi shtar v'hadar yavi zuzi.
They have to do this transaction separately. Why
Well, there
they
were two independent transactions.
understand that?
I gave him a loan, and then I also sold him a field. So when I'm telling him, pay me back the loan, he said, well, since you sold me a field, you should have collected the loan before you sold me a field. The fact that you didn't must show that I paid it back already.
That's how we do now. Now we can combine in one deal, in one transaction.
If you have an independent
Let's say
star,
you buy in a house, still mortgage, but you have but
you mean refinance and put it all in together? Well, here, let me tell you I don't think it works like that. Because I lent him money, I have a star that says that he owes me money. The fact that I have it still shows that he didn't pay it back. So, but he's claiming because he has this star mechira. But he's saying, if why would you have sold me money if I would have owed you money? So I he could have said, I won't give you this bill of sale until you pay me back the loan. So the fact that even though I'm holding the IOU for the loan, which would indicate that he didn't pay it back yet, the Chachamim are saying in some cases, because he has this shtar machira for this title, the sale of a piece of land, it wouldn't make sense for me to sell him something if he still owes me money for a loan. Right. But the Chachamim are saying though that he should have. So therefore, uh, if he really has a bill of sale, then he probably doesn't owe me anything anymore. That's what the Chachamim are saying. Or maybe according to what Jeff said. So according to the Chachamim, we say he rolled it into together. I mean, I don't think the Gemara wouldn't say that, but we would say that nowadays. So ki pligi ba'asra diksivi shtar v'hadar yavi zuzi. They're only arguing in a place where you write a star and then you pay the money for the for the land. Admon tzavar yiboy lach lemim moda. Admon would say you'd have to inform him that I'm selling you this field because you haven't paid my loan back, and now that you're going to own a field, I'm going to be able to collect it from the field in case you don't pay back. Rabbanat say chavrach chavra islay. Your friend has another friend. Chavra chavra islay, and your friend's friend has a friend. And if you would tell this to the Adam before they signed on the star, because we're talking about a place where you write the star before the money's given. So he had some Adam sign on this star that I'm doing this. So if the Adam heard that he was going to he's selling him the field in order that he could collect his debt, somehow would find out. If two people know, it's not a secret. So therefore, Admon says he has no other choice but to sell the field in order to get his loan back repaid. Now, from something we're going to see in the next Gemara, we could have potentially seen a different answer, I think. The Gemara is going to talk about, well, when is the loan due? Meaning, if the loan, let's say I loaned him a 2-year loan, and after 1 year, I sold him the field. Maybe you could still say, well, because the loan wasn't due yet, I would have sold him a field. Even though the Gemara doesn't seem to think that. The Gemara gets to see solid businesses get the smaller debts out of the way, or the all cash uh, 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 deals out of the way, which is a loan is just money before you would deal with real estate. But the Gemara doesn't give that answer. That one case it was already due before he sold the field, and the other cases where it wasn't due till later. But the Gemara doesn't give that answer. Okay, Mishnah. Shnaim shotziu shtar chov zeh. If so, I said to Shmuel, you owe me money. And what does Shmuel do? Shmuel says, yeah, I do, but guess what? You owe me money. So let's cancel it out. So Admon Omer, Elo Hayisi Chayv Lach Ketzet Atalova Mimeni. Okay, do you want to? Well, because you have my phone, I don't know where mommy is. If mommy's home, she could take you home. Do you want to give me my phone so I can check? So Admon says, Elo Hayisi Chayv Lach Ketzet Atalova Mimeni. If I owed you money, how would you have borrowed from me? Meaning, why would you have borrowed from me if you could have just said, pay me back? Then you would have had the money, right? It's kind of silly to borrow from that guy if he actually owes you money back. So the Chachamim Omer, so obviously, so
Looks like both of them are desperate.
but the thing is that the second guy, his loan is dated after the first loan. Is that good? Okay. The Chachamim Omrim, Zegova Shtarchova, Zegova Shtarchova. Chachamim say, I would collect my debt from him, and Shmira would collect his debt from me. And even Rashi says, even if they're both, I lent him $100 and he lent me $100. We can't just say they cancel out. I have to pay him and he has to pay me. And if we refuse to pay, Basin will sell something from him to give to me. And if I refuse to pay, Basin will sell something of mine and pay to him. They have to be paid off. So Gemara 110a2. Itmar Shnayim Shotziu Shtarchov Zalzeh. There's a machlokas amoraim. A case like this, what happens when two people present IOUs to each other, saying, I say you owe me, and then he says, well, you owe me. So Rav Nachman Amar Zegova v'Zegova. Rav Nachman says they both have to pay each other, like the Chachamim. Rav Sheshes Amar Hafuchim Etar Tolamali. Why do we have to change chairs? Why if I owe you 100 and you owe me 100, if you pay me 100 and I pay you 100, it's just going back and forth. So there's no need. Just say they cancel out. Bring it to me, please. I can't reach. Here. This one keeps his and the other one keeps his. The Kuli Alma, now we go to the first wide line in the Gemara because everyone holds it is Bein Nisu Bein Ziboris Ziboris Vada Hepluchim Etarta. Who? So if both of them have the same high quality land, or whether it's high quality land, medium quality land, or bad quality land, it's certainly what Rav Shesha says is correct. There's no point in exchanging. If they're refusing to pay money and they're using land as a security, if I only own low quality land and I'm going to get low quality land from you, so what does it matter if I have my low quality land or your low quality land? It's the same quality. Or even if they're both high quality, what's better from his high quality or my high quality? It doesn't make sense. So that's again, if you're not paying cash and they're gonna have to go to basin and collect from a field. Because there's a halacha that if you didn't repay a loan, you pay back from medium quality, not top quality. And the Gemara is going to say, where we're going to see a machlokas within that concept. Ki pligi, when are they arguing? The islay lachad beininis lachad ziboris. When one has medium quality land and the other one has low quality land. Rav Nachman savar zegova v'zegova. Rav Nachman says each one has to pay each other back. Kesavar b'shalohin shavin, because he holds when we say that you pay from medium quality land, not the top quality land, that's with what you own. So if you own Asi Balzabors Regavi Lebaninus, so the person who only has low quality land and probably the earlier dated star, he's happy to get the other guy's um, medium quality, because the other guy only has medium quality land. So his medium quality land is better than my low quality land. So I'd rather get land from him and then Asi Balziboris Vegavile Lebaninus. So the person who owns the low quality land is going to take a medium quality land, which is the only type of land that the other guy has, the Havigabe Idius. So for the first guy who's collecting, it's high quality in regard to him because he only has low quality. So medium quality is better than low quality. So he'd rather have a medium quality. V'asahu v'shakal ziboris. And then the other guy who you just collected a medium quality field from him, he's going to collect a low quality field from you because the halacha is that he can't collect my highest quality. So even though instead of me paying him $100 and him paying me $100, I'm going to get his medium quality field, and he's going to take one of my previously owned low quality fields. So in the end, I have more high quality land than I had before. So it's not just paying $100, $100. They're not equal. And people would rather have a little smaller, medium quality field than a little bit bigger, low quality field. Rav Shesha Summer and Rav Shesha says, why do we switch chairs or bags? We don't, when we evaluate the qualities of land and we say that a person who takes a loan collects medium quality, it doesn't mean medium quality of the whole world. In the whole world, there's high quality, medium quality, and low quality. Rav Shesha says, excuse me. So we're saying Rav Nachman, the one we just says, we define high quality, low quality, and medium quality based on what you have. So if you have medium quality and low quality, we hold that we use the regular definition of in general, not in regard to you. Sof ki hai asi hahu beinanis danavshe kashakil. So if one guy has only Bainan, if someone would only have low quality land, he'd have to pay back in low quality land because he has no choice, right? But in this case, where one guy has medium quality land only, and the other guy only has low quality land, so when the guy with only low quality land gets a medium quality land from the other guy, and now he has to pay back, Rav Sheshes hold we define land not by what he himself owns, which is medium and low. We we talk about in general when you pay back a debt, your medium quality lands are what goes to pay a debt, and because in general his high quality land is what most people are called medium quality, his medium quality field will have to go be paid back to pay the loan. So according to what the Gemara is saying right here is that Rav Sheshes and Rav Nachman are arguing is that when you pay back a loan with medium quality, does so if someone would have medium, Morty, this is for you. Hello? Okay, let me bring Morty. Okay, he doesn't want to go home. I'll bring him home in a few minutes, like 20. Bye. So if one guy has medium and low quality, the halacha of Baininus means that you pay not from your top tier. So because he only has medium tier and low tier, when he pays back a loan, it's going from the low tier. But Rav Sheshes is saying, no, it doesn't matter what's your high tier and medium tier and low tier. It's what the general, like Lahavdil, what's your bond status? Like CPS just got raised to like BB, the very C, the lowest, they it was junk, they raised it one level out of junk. So CBS is bragging, our finances are getting better. We got our bond rating raised. But in regard to anyone else, is that considered a good bond rating? No. For them, they're considering that a high bond rating. But in regard to the world, it's a very low bond rating. So according to Rav Sheshes, you have to pay medium. If all you have is medium, obviously you have to pay medium. If all you have is low, obviously you have to pay low. If you have medium and low, you would pay medium. We don't care that it's your highest, but because it is not generally rated highest level, it's not considered idiot. It's not considered top level, and you would pay that. So in this case, you're giving him baininess, he's giving you baininess back. There's no point in exchanging that. Well, Rav Nachman, but according to Rav Nachman, we have a question. My chazas to asi balziboris beresha. Why do we say this? So this would only make sense if the guy who has the lower, only low quality field took out his star first and demanded payment. Lacy balbenis beresha lagabi ziboris. But if the guy who only has medium quality fields take first, and then he's going to get ziboris from the other guy, and then according to Rav Nachman, the first guy is going to give ziboris back. So in that case, according to Rav Nachman, they'd be trading bags, and there'd be no point. So this answer would fit according to Rav Sheshes, but according to Rav Nachman, it only would work half the time. So why would he have made such a statement that that was like that? So the Gemara says, "Utricha dikadim tave." So we say, yeah, Rav Nachman actually only said his case when the guy with only low quality land made his claim first. Now the question is, if the guy would only have top quality and low quality and nothing medium, in that case, I think he would not have to pay from his high quality. Okay. But the Gemara says, Sof kiasu lemigve bahadi hadari kaasu. But the Gemara says, in the end, when they're coming to collect, they're coming at the same time. Meaning, one guy comes to Beis Din and says, you owe me money. So the other guy comes to Beis Din with his star. So before the first one got resolved, his counterclaim was, look, you owe me money. So Beis Din didn't paskin on one case before the other case started. So why should Beis Din go through this whole rigmarole?
Who paskin the quality of the land?
Everyone agrees that it had.
Everybody agree with but the owner say, okay, I have a highest quality of this particular land.
Halacha is if you damage someone or your ox damaged someone and you have to pay damages. If you're not paying cash and you want to pay with land, you have to pay with top quality land.
Okay,
Halacha is to pay a loan, you pay medium quality. And if to pay your ksuva, you pay lowest quality. That's the general.
what is high quality, middle quality?
I would assume that it would be how much your field yields per area. Like you have a very high producing field, there's a medium producing field, and there's a low producing field. Like if you plant an acre, do you get 10 bushels from it, 12 bushels from it, or 14 bushels? So if you get 14 bushels from an acre, that's a high producing land. If you get 12 bushels, it's a medium producing. If you get 10, it's a low producing. So same way lahavdil, you could grade diamonds, you could grade bonds. So in the Gemara, they clearly graded qualities of land.
Always subject to my.
You mean I'm saying this is high quality land, so you can't take it from me. No, so I'm saying that there's, even though lahavdil, the junk bond rate stat ratings and diamond ratings, there is a little bit of subjectivity, but there had to be some objective way that everyone agreed this is the way we rate fields. Moody's field rating. Moody's make rates credit ratings for the bonds and stuff. That's why they say Moody. So even though one person came first, but before Basin says, well, what do you have to say? So he says, well, he owes me money. Let me go home, get my star, and show it to you. So Basin didn't paskin to the first guy yet. So why do we have to have this whole rigmarole? So the Gemara is saying we're halfway down on 110a3 on the left-hand column. So the machlokas will be when one guy has high quality and medium quality, and the other one only has low quality. Rav Nachman holds we evaluate with his own. So because he has idius and baininus, high quality and medium quality, he has to give the medium quality. because so if he collects the low quality from the other guy, and now the other guy collects back, he's going to get medium quality. So he's going to be better off. And if the guy from the uh from the high quality, Danny, your Gemara's over here.
Where's my book?
It's on top of your sitter. Your seat on top of the Zohar. Look at the shelf with the Zohar. Yeah.
Can't believe it. I was so confused and
But you were looking for it at home.
just I'm confused time completely. When do we start? 7:10?
An hour before Mincha. So today was 7:05.
7:05.
We're right here.
Thank you.
And if the guy with who owns high and medium quality land collected first, he's getting low quality from the other guy, but now he owns three qualities of land, the other guy's getting medium quality back. So in that case, the guy who only owns medium quality only owns low quality is always going to get a better field back. So Rav Shesha says, excuse me, Rav Chisda says, not Rav Chisda, Rav Nachman says, it depends what he has. Umar Savar Bishal Kolaram Hinsham. But Rav Sheshes holds we don't, it's not subjective, high quality, low quality, and medium quality, but it is regular quality of the objective land according to Moody's land ratings. Tanan. So we're asking against Rav Sheshes from a Mishnah. Chachamim Omer Zeg over Zeg over. The Chachamim say they have to each pay each other back. According to Rav Sheshes, we say there's no point in exchanging money. You're getting the same thing. So instead of you paying him back and him paying you back, neither pay each other back. They just offset each other. Is that the right accounting word, offset?
Yes.
Right. So the Chachamim, our Mishnah says, if they offset, let them offset. No one has to pay each other back, because what's the point of me paying you $100? You take the same $100 bill and bring it back to me. Oh, maybe I had you in the wrong place. The Karim Tabe. Okay, so here's what we just asked. So according to the Chachamim in our Mishnah, if they offset each other, they offset each other. So why did Rav Shesha say that they don't offset? Tirgma Rav Nachman Alib Rav Sheshes. Rav Nachman answered according to Rav Sheshes, even though a question against Rav Sheshes is good for Rav Nachman, but Rav Nachman wants to find the truth because he's an Amora, he's not a pundit, and he wants the emes. So he's willing to give a good svara for his Bal Machlokas. And he says, one borrowed for 10 years, and the only one only borrowed for 5 years. So they don't cancel out because their terms are different. At the time that this one's due, the other one isn't due yet. So the Gemara says, hey, Chidami, well, what exactly are we talking about when they're different cases? If the first loan was for 10 years, and the second loan was only for 5 years, why would Amnon say in our Mishnah, if I owed you money, why would you lend me money? So we could give a simple answer. The loan wasn't collectible yet. So Shesh's opinion seems to be like Admon. There's no point in paying offsetting things. So Rav Nachman explained Rav Sheshes was talking about where one loan was for 10 years and one loan was for 5 years. So the Gemara says, well, that's not such a great answer, because if the first loan was for 10 years and the other one was for 5 years, so it's true that he owes me money. Why would I borrow money from him? Well, because the loan isn't due yet, I can't collect it. So there's no way that I could force him to pay back early. So the only way I can deal with my cash flow problem isn't to ask him to pay back early, but it's for me to take a loan from him. So there must be the case that the first one was for 5 years and the second one was for 10 years. So it was the 5 year loan was due already. So the first guy who had a 5 year loan, he has to pay back now that his loan is due. And the other one, because this isn't due till 10 years, when the 10 years are up, then he's going to pay it back. So they don't exactly offset. But what exactly is the case here when the first one was for 5 years and the second one was for 10 years? If the first one was already due before the second loan, the 10-year loan got taken out, my time at Rabbana. Everyone would say, I wouldn't have loaned you money if you owed me, if I wouldn't have lent you money if I owed you money. That doesn't make sense. My time at Rabbanan. So why would the Rabbanan ever say that that's a good svar? And if the loan wasn't yet due, my time at Admon. The other loan wasn't due yet. So how come Admon says that you wouldn't have let me? I wouldn't have let you money if I owed you money. You'd have to pay it back first. Maybe I'm saying this a little bit wrong, but I think you understand what I'm saying, right? I'm saying you owe me money, and you're saying I owe you money. Well, if you owed me money, why would I lend you money? I would just take the money that you would just repay your loan. I wouldn't have to borrow money from you. I would just reclaim, you would repay your loan, and I would get my money by you repaying your loan, but not by me taking not by me taking a new debt. So the Gemara says, so it's a case where the 5 year loan, where this happened on the day that the 5 year loan was due. Mar Savar Evad Inish Dezayf Liyome, one or the day before. One, the Rabbi Chachamim in our Mishnah holds someone would borrow money even if they only have a 1 day cash flow. Problem. Umar Savar Lavad Inish Dezayf Liyome. And Admon says you wouldn't make a loan if you only had a 1 day cash flow. There's a different Gemara that says a standard loan, if you don't give terms, it's for 30 days. So if I'm expected to come tomorrow, it's not like the banks today that charge you an overdraft fee if you're 1 second late. So in those days, if you knew the money was coming tomorrow, I'll just wait till tomorrow. I don't need to have all the assets exactly for today. I can wait a day. But Admon says, no, if my books aren't balanced today, I need them balanced today. So I would even borrow money for 1 day. But okay. Rami Bar Chama gives a different explanation why Rav Sheshes, why the Chachamim's opinion isn't against Rav Sheshes. We're dealing with orphans. The Yasmi Migbe Gavi. The halacha is Yisomim always collect a loan that's due to their father, but we don't collect from them. So that's why when we say we have offsetting loans, we don't say let them offset. The Chachamim say you have to pay them off, because in this case the Yisomim have to get paid, but cash does not get taken out of the Yisomim's account. So the Gemara asks, but you can't say that. That means that money is only going one way. But our Mishnah explicitly says, return to 110.85. But the Mishnah says each one collects. According to what Rami just said, only the Yisomim are collecting, not both parties. So his answer doesn't fit with the words of the Mishnah. So the Gemara says, this one actually collects, and this one deserves to collect, except for technical reasons he can't collect. So that's how he explains the Mishnah. So the Gemara doesn't like it. Amar Rava. Rava says, no, we don't like Rami's answer. Shtei tshuvas, whatever. There's two things we could respond to Rami by we don't accept what Rami says. The Mishnah explicitly says this one collects and this one collects. So you can't say that this one collects and this one deserves to collect, but for technical reasons not collecting. That's not what zegova v'zegova means. Zegova v'zegova means this one collects what owe him, and this one collects what's owe him. Let us give, if it's a case of the Yisomim, let us give not cash to the Yisomim, but we'll give land to the Yisomim's portfolio, to the estate of their father. And then the other guy will just take back the land. Rav Nachman, which according to the Imam of Rav Nachman, a different ruling of Rav Nachman, the Amar of Nachman, Amar Rabba Baravua, because Rav Nachman said the name of Rabba Baravua, Yisomim shagova karka b'chova saviyam b'chov chozer v'gova osamehem. Even though we don't collect a loan from the Yisomim, if after their father died, the estate received real estate in payment of a debt, a different creditor can collect that real estate. When we say that we don't collect from the estate for the Yisomim have, that's cash. But if they or land, but if they receive land after their father died, that land is fair game for a different creditor of their father to collect. Kasha. So this is a strong kasha against Rami Bar Chama. So then the Gemara says, "V'look me to Islu diasmi liziburis." Why don't we say so? Meaning, in the old-fashioned debates, you start with a resolution. Here's the resolved, and one person is arguing pro it, and one person is arguing con the resolution. So the Gemara says, "V'lokma." Let's say that this is. Let's establish that this is the resolution of the Mishnah. We're talking about a case. V'lukma is only like lahakim. We stand it up and say this is the case that we're talking about. The Isla hu yasmi ziburis. The orphans have only low quality land. The Isla ledidei idis ubeinanis, and the other guy has high quality and medium quality. The Azla yasmi gavu beinanis. So if the Yosomim collect first, they would collect medium quality land from the other guy because that's his lowest quality. Umabilei ziburis, and they would pay back with their low quality land. The inami b'shal kaladim him shaman. Because even if we say that fields get paid back, loans get paid back with medium quality, objectively ranked, but there's a separate halacha that if you're collecting from properties of Yisomim, you only get low quality. So in this case, they both collect because the Yisomim are going to get slightly better than they were before. So the Gemara says, "Hanimili dehechad lo tafas." But when that's true, that's only if land wasn't seized. But if the creditor already grabbed, he was able to repossess medium quality land, it stays collected. So it stays collected. Meaning lechatchila, we wouldn't let him take medium quality. You say you're collecting from Yisomim, you only collect low quality. But because for a regular loan you would get medium quality, if he took medium quality, he gets to keep it. Okay, Mishnah, Kufyud Amar Aleph near the bottom. The third Mishnah on the page. Yeah. Shalosh. Okay, so now Shalosh Arsos Linesuin. There's 3 lands in regard to marriage. And when we say marriage, we mean Nesuin, not just chuppah. Because normally, but basically we're saying if you get married, the wife isn't going to want to move out of town. So we're saying there's 3 regions. There's a Mishnah in Shvius about this also, because in regard to Shemitah, the halacha is that you're only allowed to eat the produce as long as it's available in the fields for the wild animals to eat it, or for the birds, the animals to eat it. So depending on where you live, stuff ripens at different times and goes and gets eaten up at different times. So in regard to Shemitah, there's 3 different lands: the Galil, Yehuda, and the what's the other one? Galil, Yehuda, and no, in regard to Shemitah. I don't remember what the Mishnah there in Shviya says. So same thing. If you're marrying someone, you can't force her to move out of town. So what's out of town? Well, there's 3 regions. You can move within one region. She can't complain if you're within that one region, but you couldn't take her to a different region. So even if you're in let's say the east side of this region and you wanted to move to the west side, but because it's the same region, she can't object. And where this is going to get us before the end of the Masechta is, what if one of them wants to move to Eretz Yisrael? And that's why with this week's Parsha, we have the mitzvah, according to the Ramban, the mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. So when next week, Emir Hashem next week, it might be the week after, where we have to talk about the obligation, about the mitzvah to live in Eretz Yisrael, because it's going to relate it to our Mishnayos over here. So Yehuda, Ever Yarden, Vagalal. Yehuda, Ever Yarden, which is the eastern side, the Hagalal. Ein Motzian Me'er Le'er. You can't make her move from one city to another city. Umikrach lekrach, or from one district to another district. But within that same place, either Yehuda or Ever Yarden or Galil, you can move. He can move her from one city to another city, or one district to another district, as long as you're staying in the same eretz. So the point is, though, is that there are some restrictions. A krach is a big city, and so it has markets in it. And an air is not as big. So we'll see. But let's say she likes living in the big city. So if you move her to a small place that doesn't have a market in it, she might not be happy with it. So if you read the Mishnah very carefully, that's not allowed. And if she's used to living in a small town, you might say, oh, moving to a big city is an upgrade because everything. Well, maybe she likes the quiet living. Maybe she doesn't want that. So it only says within that land, you can move from ear to ear, from one small place to another small place, or from one big city to another big city. But it doesn't say that you can move from a big city to a small city, or from a small city to a big city. She may not want that. But you can't move from a big city in Yehuda to a big city in Galil. That's a different region. They have different, what?
If she doesn't want.
Correct. Oh, so that's the Mishnahs. We turn the Amud. I forgot. I'm tired. If we turn to Kuf Yod Amud Beis, Avalomi Er Lekrach, you can't move her from a small place to a big city. Valomi Krach Le'er, and you can't move her from a big city to a smaller city. Motzian min. I don't know if halachically that's it's. We mentioned it before in regard to Ravaron Feld. Let's say in regard to Eruv, the fact that this is Skokie and not Chicago. It doesn't. It's one metropolitan area, and it has more than 600,000 people in it. Clearly, Rabbi Schwartz didn't hold that way. But halachically, what is the fact that a bunch of people made a border and called this a different name, make it a different name? If anyone who's from somewhere else calling you say, this is Skokie and that's Chicago, like, what's the difference? It's the same thing. It's only okay. Subjectively, it's two different places, but objectively, it's the same place. Motzian minava hara lenava yafa. You can take her out from a bad house to a dumpy place to a nicer place. Avlo minava yafa lenava hara, but you can't take her from a nicer house to a worse house. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer aflo minava rava minava yafa neisha nava yafa bodek. You can't even upgrade her living from a not such a great house to a great house, because a nice house is bodek. It tries you, because Rashi says it's bad for your health, because if you go to a nicer house from a worse house, you're going to have certain health issues. Okay, so let's see the Gemara. Bishlama mikrach le'er. We understand why you can't move from a big city to a smaller town. Because you have everything you need in a big city. But in an air, you don't have everything. They don't have markets. So you have to go in to travel on Monday or Thursday to the bigger place what you need. So that's obviously a downgrade. But why can't you move her from a smaller city to a bigger city? More stuff is available. So the Gemara says, the fact that the Mishnah doesn't allow this is a proof to what Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina says. Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina, minayin sheyeshiva krachim kasha. How do you know that it's difficult to live in big cities? Shenemer, as the pasuk says, the people blessed all the people who volunteered to live in Yerushalayim. So that's in Nehemiah. So when the people came back from Bavel, most people didn't want to live in the city. So we see that to live in the city is hard. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer. Okay, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says that if you go from a bad house to a good house, it's bad for your health. So what exactly does it mean? My bodek. What does it mean, bodek? Bodek means like bedika. You have to search. What's going on over here? Kiddush Shmuel. So we can understand it based on what Shmuel taught. The Amar Shmuel. Shmuel says, Shinui veses tchilas chole me'ayim. When you have a change in your routine, that gives you a stomach ache. So we know that, we know that Ashkenazi Jews are known for having a lot of stomach problems. So that's okay. But what do we say about the non-Ashkenazi Jews? So and Shmuel wasn't Bavel. I mean, the Talmud Bavli was before people went to they didn't go to Europe. That was for Churban Bayis Risha. Well, that was after Churban Bayis Sheni, but they obviously went east. They didn't go west to Italy, where Rome was and stuff. But when you change your routine, so that's why people get anxious. The butterflies in your stomach. Kasab Sefer Ben Sira. It says in the book of Ben Sira. So Ben Sira is one of the books that were not published, and there is some medical stuff in that. Kol Yemei Ani Ryan. All days of poverty are bad. Ve'ika Shabbosos Yomim Tovim. But how could all of the days of a poor person be bad? There's Shabbos and Yantif. Shabbos and Yantif are good days. Kiddush Shmuel. We could understand it with Shmuel. Damar Shmuel, Shinoi Vesas, Chilas Cholameyayim. Change of routine is bad. So even though Shabbos is good and Yantif is good, but it's a change of routine, it could be bad. And I have a little guy over here who he thrives on routine. So Shabbos and Yantif is hard for him. He likes waking up, putting on his backpack, going to school, having his routine at school, and it's hard for him. So even though Shabbos and Yantiv, you're not doing the same grind. As bad as the grind is every day, you know what the grind is. When you have a day off, you might know, well, what did I do with myself? So it's interesting in human psychology, and not just psychology, but how it affects your stomach also. Ben Sira Omer, another statement in Ben Sira, Af Leilos. The nights of a poor person are also bad. Bishval Gagim Gago, at the lower part of other people's roofs is where his roof is. Uvimram Harim Karmo, and at the highest part of a mountain is where his vineyard is. Mimtar Gagim Legago. So therefore, when other people's rain goes off of their roofs, it goes onto his. Umayafar Karmo Lekramen. And because his vineyard is at the top, his wind erosion, his dirt is gonna get blown away onto other people, and he's gonna have less dirt, and he's not gonna have such a good crop. Now, historically, according to this, it seems that Ben Sira is talking about places that have sloped roofs, or even though they're flat, there must be somewhere but Shval, it makes it sound like they were pitched, which nowadays we think that the roofs in Eretz Yisrael are flat, but we know in the Gemara the reason you have to build a makkah and stuff is because because they were flat, but from other Gemaras they were sloped a little bit, because in Makos, the second parak, if you were doing your roof and you were angling down or angling up, so there had to be a small angle. So that's what Ben Sira says. Okay, we have to